Coming up on our program today, the FAA administrator makes it to Oshkosh and answers a few questions. Also, King Schools talks about their new app. And Gogo Business Aviation is ready to supply 5G bandwidth to a wide variety of airplanes. Those stories and more coming up on the special edition of Airborne Unlimited, brought to you from AirVenture 2021. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Kimberly Kay. FAA Boss Steve Dickson made it to Oshkosh and started his presentation by discussing what's on everybody's mind.
This letter of deviation authority situation has been on my mind, and I'm not any happier about this situation than many of you are. I think the good news, though, is that in many challenges in aviation, we have found a way to work together to get through it very quickly and I think efficiently. The bottom line, when you cut through everything, is that we've got a rule on this topic that does not say what we want it to say. And we had guidance out there for the agency, for our inspectors in particular, that was incorrect. We do need to rewrite the rule so that it says what we all want it to say. The problem that we have is that as I have seen when I got to the agency back about 2 years ago, is that this doggone rulemaking process takes a lot of time. And so we need a solution in the near term. So that was to set up an expedited way for owners or instructors to receive a letter of deviation authority so that they could operate in compliance with the regulation, and so we could have all the documentation up to snuff. And this is a documentation exercise, no doubt. And I told my people, you know, once this became apparent, that if we had to do this, we need to make it as painless as we possibly could. And this should be fire and forget, because the LODAs will be valid for 48 months, which we think will be well within the time frame of getting the new rule in place.
EAA boss Jack Pelton wasn't too happy with Dickson's answers and said so.
We'll still debate that where we got to, we disagree with the ruling that took place, that we didn't have a problem for the last 60 years. But so I'm not quite sure what we're fixing. But the concern really going forward is, and I do commend you on getting a responsive LODA system that you can go online. Our team has done many of them, and actually have taken 2 days. But when you look at the comment of we're going to have to go through rulemaking, that's going to be very hard, and you are going to include industry in that. Is it going to be comprehensive enough to really now step back and make sure we don't end up in the same situation again in other areas of aviation? And what we hear from members is kind of the unintended consequences of, we got home built, experimental amateur built, we got the primary category, we got limited, but what about standard category? What about all the other areas that could pop up and we don't want to get in the whack-a-mole solution set?
Dickson also went on to talk about Mosaic and the future of the light sports segment.
We're evolving to keep pace with technology while maintaining safety in the light aircraft sector. Our goal, and this is aggressive for the agency, but our goal is to publish the final rule by September of 2023. And of course, this is after years of work. We anticipate significant improvements and expansions in the light sports sector for fully manufactured aircraft and for kit aircraft for home builders. As an example, light sport aircraft would be able to have 4 seats, and we would be able to account for electric propulsion as well.
Also, Dickson dodged ANN's Jim Campbell's question about whether or not the FAA will make an exception in their new regulations and allow Wally Funk to earn FAA Astronaut Wings.
There's a process that we have defined, but I am very receptive. But obviously, in the commercial space, when you look at commercial space eventually maturing into where you have space flight participants who aren't a crew member, we've got to work through that. So we're working through those issues, and I would say that we're not to a final decision point yet, but stay tuned. Thank you.
Coming up after the break, we speak with Gogo Business Aviation about when their 5G will be available. More news coming to you from AirVenture 2021.
The Skyreach Bushcan. It's everything a light sport airplane was meant to be. and more. 100 horses in the nose, a slow stall speed, more than 600 pounds of useful load, and it is built for fun. The Bushcat can take you where you always wanted to go, to the mountains, to the valleys, and everything in between. So your options for adventure are wide open.
Introducing the new ELT-345 from Artex. This emergency locator transmitter, or ELT, boasts an industry-low price, while providing the same quality and performance on which the Artex brand was built. GPS data is embedded within the first emergency transmission and provides search and rescue personnel with the aircraft location within 100 meters in less than a minute. Take to the skies knowing that you have the highest performing and reliable equipment on board. View our selection of ELTs and safety products at www.artex.com. Artex, your best last chance.
Welcome back from Whitman Regional Airport. If you see anything cool happening at AirVenture 2021, make sure you use the hashtag you see on your screen. King Schools talks about their new app and what upgrades they're doing to some of their training courses.
We're here with John and Martha King of King Schools, and not only did you bring some really interesting new courses to the market this year, you also have a new app. Could you tell me about it quickly?
Well, I believe you're talking about our flashcard app, and the whole idea is the best way that you can ensure that you remember something is you practice recalling it. And so we have a flashcard app where basically it's as if you had stacks of flashcards, and you can turn the flashcard around and see the explanation for it, and you can also mark that flashcard and as you can say, got this, or I need to review it again. It returns to the stack if you need to review it again. And we do that all electronically in an app that either is an Apple app or Android app.
Well, you two are certainly legends in the teaching industry. I know you're also moving into colleges and universities for a bit of teaching and recruitment of young pilots. Could you give me a brief overview of that move?
Yes, go ahead.
We already have a program for Cessna pilot courses, courses for flight schools, and what we have developed is a program, a curriculum that works in conjunction with it for colleges and universities.
Well, John, Martha, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gogo is upgrading their network to 5G and reveal when it will become available.
Welcome to another issue of Aero-News Network here at Oshkosh, EAA AirVentures 2021. Today we're with Gogo, Mark Sander. Thank you, Mark, for making time for us today.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to talk with you.
So tell me a little bit about going from 4G to 5G. What kind of a Herculean effort is that for you guys?
Sure, yeah. Well, one of the things that Gogo does is we are a network operator for aviation exclusively. And we started with our first generation network, which was actually about 20 years ago. Then about 4 years ago, we built our 4G network with the advanced product line, and that's gave our customers an incredible boost in connectivity options and speed. And right now we're in the process of building our 5G network. And again, as a network operator and a network builder, we know how to do this. So this is actually the fourth time we've gone out and build a nationwide network exclusively for aircraft in flight, and we're doing that right now on 5G technology, and we will have that out towards the second half of next year.
Most people actually know Gogo from the commercial world, so we see you in the airlines, but one of the biggest pieces of your business happens to be the business aviation market, and you're getting into a lot of other aircraft, even the lights and the turboprops now.
Yeah, as a company, we actually started in business aviation. And then we went into the airline business, and now we are really refocusing on the business aviation market once again. And one of the things that has happened with connectivity, especially with air-to-ground connectivity, is we are not just in the large jets, we are in a broad range of aircraft. So virtually anybody who flies a private aircraft has a need for connectivity now.
Anything to be on the lookout in the near future from you guys?
I think 5G is the big thing, right? It's a big effort for us. You know, we have to build, it's not just building equipment and antennas for the aircraft. Most of that work happens on the ground. So it's building the towers, the infrastructure, and to be a true 5G network provider, you know, you have to be 5G throughout the entire thing. So it's not just your radios, but it's your towers, it's your backhaul. And we're very focused on doing those things, and we're really excited to bring it out back half of next year. So that's what's the latest thing for Gogo.
The A&N crew decided they wanted to get rid of me, so they put me on an aerobatic plane and placed bets whether I was going to chicken out, pass out, or get sick. But nobody won any bets, so better luck next time.
Okay, we just got done with our media ride. We're up at the Appleton Airport in Wisconsin, just north of Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And we have a 3-ship team from Phillips 66, and we just completed a media ride where we went up just north of the Class D airspace of Appleton. And we did a loop, a barrel roll, a wing over, and then we did a team roll, as you felt. We're pretty close. I've actually been in the industry for a long time, but this is 5 years with this team. It's like I mentioned, that you just have to have total trust in the people you fly with. So there's a big vetting process that goes through where everybody gets used to everybody before things start tightening up. It goes on at every formation aerobatic team. We practice whenever we can. So any of the days off where everybody's in town, we throw together a practice. The aerobatic box is at my airport. Since I'm solo, if I'm off myself, I go up and practice my solo figures and whatnot and just stay loose and limber. It's similar in some ways and very different in others. You just sort of get used to hopping back and forth. Lots of guys do it. Lots of guys hop back and forth the big and little airplanes.
After the break, we have part 4 of our interview series with none other than FAA Boss Jack Pelton.
The M600 SLS with Halo system is the first general aviation aircraft in the world that can safely land itself in the event that the pilot is unable. Thanks to Garmin Autoland, the system can be engaged with the simple press of a button. Autoland safely guides the aircraft and your most precious cargo to the nearest airport. The M600 SLS with Halo system, recalibrating the scale of safety.
Pilot Communications USA is proud to introduce our latest headsets, the Carbon A1 Active Noise Reduction and the Carbon P1 Passive headset. Carbon fiber makes our headsets 30% lighter than others, which significantly reduces pilot fatigue. Our BlueLink hand control unit allows you to connect 2 devices at the same time, and the record out capability can send audio to an onboard camera or digital recorder. Get the headset that's so light you may forget you're wearing one at pilot-usa.com.
The Zephyr is what you have always wanted. A highly capable 2-seat turbine-powered helicopter with great ramp appeal, 100-mile-per-hour cruise speed, 172 nautical mile range, and to top it all off, a first-of-its-kind emergency airframe parachute system. The Curdy Design Zephyr, unique, advanced, innovative, and highly capable. Your ultimate freedom machine is available now at zephyr.eu.
Welcome back. Jack and Jim discuss the new FAA regulations and how that's affecting the flight training industry.
The 600-pound gorilla is going to be a little fight the FAA has started with the rest of aviation in regards to how we conduct flight instruction, what's a commercial activity. And you know me, I'm not exactly bashful about these things, but whoever came up with the idea that they are going to mandate LODAs and put everything on hold and everything's a commercial endeavor now and yada, yada, yada. frankly, should be taken out behind the barn and swatted.
The reason we started late, I was on the phone with the FAA administrator on that exact subject, and it looks like the lawyers are running FAA, and while we've got a temporary patch in place, this is a bigger issue that needs to be resolved, and we're gonna go after legislation to do that, and we have advocates in support of that on both sides of the aisle. The two bill numbers just got released 20 minutes ago from both the Senate and the House, so we know what the numbers are. The content of the bills, though, is still being made. But long discussion we had with him was really pointed on, you've addressed a couple items here as a result of a court case that had to deal with warbird flight training, and it has legs on it that could go from unintended consequences everywhere, as you know, from medical certifications for CFIs. Is that changing the whole commercial aspect of standard category and everybody, taking somebody for a joyride? Where does that go? So we've got to get this thing, the genie, back in the bottle to where it's been for 60 years and it's been safe and effective. And we're really pushing the whole safety issue. From the experimental side, one of the big things we got done in the last couple of years was to allow a second pilot in the first 40 hours of flight testing for pure safety reasons. So, I build an RV and Jim's got an RV and is, highly qualified in it. It's a really good thing for me to have Jim in the airplane with me on those first flights to make sure the airplane's app. Well, this puts all that kind of stuff into question. Now you got to get a LODA for it, and where does it stop? So it got ignited really quick, just literally in the last week and a half. The FAA did do a couple things that were nice to help us. You can get a LODA in 2 to 3 days, and it's relatively easy.
And we're hearing people are.
We've had 800 of them processed to date, and there's about 1,200 of them in the queue. But there are more questions than there are people getting LODAs. And a lot of people, they're concerned about enforcement. They're concerned about, what does this really mean? And, now I have to have a LODA is essentially an exemption and a deviation. And it's like, I don't know if I want one of those because I don't know what they are. And so people are taking a big step back. And we said, you can't have people stepping back from doing flight training and protecting the safety. That's the worst thing we could have happen.
Well, that does it for our show today. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Kimberly Kay. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our social media pages you see on your screen. Make sure to tune in to tomorrow's episode of Airborne Unlimited Special Edition, brought to you from AirVenture 2021. Thanks for watching.